What do dogs feel when you leave them alone at home? Have you ever wondered what your dog feels every time you walk out the front door and leave him alone? We can tell you about this. The dog is the most excellent pet. Leaving the dog alone at home is one of the worst moments of the day for anyone who has one of these inseparable life companions. And it is as much as we feel like it, we cannot take our dog to work, to the doctor, to the purchase, to class. A moment of the day that can last only hours, a few minutes or a few, but that often makes us leave home with sadness or with the concern of how our dog will be achieved. And although we cannot know the exact answer to these questions with certainty, we can get closer to the way in which our four-legged companion may feel at that moment in which we need to leave him alone at home. How? Well, based on his behavior when we are not around. What do dogs feel when you leave them alone at home? Before talking about the possible feelings of dogs when they are left alone at home, it is important to keep in mind that like each person, each dog is different and the way he acts or copes with that situation can vary a lot. The age of the dog also has a great influence, since if it is a puppy, it probably requires more attention and hours of play, as it has much more energy than an adult or older dog. Next, we will review some of the most common phases in a dog during that time spent away from home. Sadness. Just as a dog can know that it's time to eat or it's time for a walk is approaching, our dog is also capable of memorizing and remembering the different habits that we normally carry out in our day-to-day. For this reason, they are able to sense when the time is approaching for you to leave home to go to work, for example. This is a situation and a part of the day that in one way or another will make them feel sad since, as social animals, they do not enjoy being alone in the same way. So avoid leaving him alone for too many hours, make sure he always has toys nearby or an environment in which he can feel comfortable and safe, and of course, don't forget to reward him with his hours of walks, games and corresponding attention. Break time. Despite that first moment of sadness when we leave, later they will realize that they have been left alone, so they will probably take advantage of that time to rest and sleep. Above all, they will seek to sleep somewhere in the house where they feel comfortable, or near those places where they can still smell our scent. A way to overcome that loneliness. Above all, they will seek to sleep somewhere in the house where they feel comfortable, or near those places where they can still smell our scent. A way to overcome that loneliness. Games time. Maybe after that first nap they need to expend a little energy, and for this there is no better way than to dedicate a little of that time alone at home to play. If you have left them a teether, ball or canine toy at home, they will surely spend a few minutes playing with it to pass the time. But that need to expend energy and boredom can also lead them to do some mischief around the house. Have you ever come home to find your sofa or cushions chewed up? Both situations are more common than we imagine and are common during those times when our furry friends are home alone. A good way to avoid both situations is that during your hours of walks and games you try to make your furry friend spend all that energy that he needs to burn so that he can come home more eager to rest than to do mischief. It is important to note that dogs can also suffer from separation anxiety. This can lead to them crying, barking excessively, chewing on anything nearby, or even urinating around the house. In these cases, it is important that we consult the problem with an ethologist who can give us the best advice to ensure that our dog does not suffer excessively from our absence or that his own emotional well-being may be harmed. Having toys or teethers around the house can help our furry bear our absence better. It will also be good to avoid saying goodbyes before leaving, guarantee a daily routine, avoid punishment or ensure daily exercise, among other things. Await our arrival. Just as they can sense when you are going to leave home, they can also sense that you will return. That is a moment that every day fills them with happiness and joy and that they look forward to. For that reason, when he sees you come through the door again, he cannot hide the enthusiasm that this moment of the day provokes in him. That return home is something that your dog values and that he will always look forward to, and one of the main reasons why you should never forget to return. This does not mean that you have to give up your daily obligations or your social life, but it does mean that you do not forget that for him you are his family and that he needs you too.